We go now to another southern Indiana community wanting to set its own rules that ensure any animals sold in stores are treated fairly and humanely. We have shared several reports with you about the pushback against Puppygram, a pet store in Clarksville, over the past several months. Town councils have been approving ordinances that put more restrictions on this kind of business. And Wave News reporter Julie Richardson has the latest update from the latest council drafting its potential own new rules. Julia.
Jose, New Albany is the latest southern Indiana city to draft an ordinance putting stricter guidelines on pet stores, following the footsteps of both Clarksville and Jeffersonville.
To see progress in such a relatively short period of time be made has been very exciting.
What started as a Facebook group to share information, the Southern Indiana Animal Welfare Watchdogs, has turned into much more. Member Mindy Johnson tells me a few people started the group after pet store Puppygram moved into Green Tree Mall.
We got to do research on it, tried to figure out how the store operated.
But several people started using that group to share concerns about Puppygram, claiming the dogs at the store haven't been properly cared for. Just last month, a puppy from the store tested positive for parvo.
We've had a lot of engagement from the public, people that share the same feelings and the same sentiment.
Advocates realized that many southern Indiana towns didn't have language in their ordinances that specified what these types of stores can and cannot do. But in the last couple of months, that's changed. Clarksville and Jeffersonville passed ordinances to regulate these stores, including specifics on kennel sizes, cleaning, and disclosing where the animals come from. This week, we found out Clarksville has charged Puppygram for violating some of the specifics in its new ordinance. We have filed an open records request to get the specific violations Puppygram is accused of, but that information hasn't been sent to Wave News yet. I reached out to Puppygram's CEO, who shared this statement, saying the city didn't notify them when the ordinance went into effect, and quote, "The ordinance is targeted to put unrealistic demands on our small business." Now, New Albany is considering its own ordinance, something Johnson tells me she's worked with Councilmember Louise Gohman on.
It's more about prevention, and it's not necessarily targeted at one business. It could be anybody that comes in and opens a store that's going to sell these animals.
And Councilwoman Gohman has recommended that the first draft of the ordinance go to a committee before coming back to the council for a vote, which she suspects will happen in either September or October. She tells me it's written very similarly to the ones already in place in Clarksville and Jeffersonville. Julie Richardson, Wave News.